Hi, my name is Chris Rayberg and I'm putting together this appeal for angel investment funding to search for, to find and fund the Tasmanian tiger. The first question you'll probably have is, why on earth would we like to do that? We believe the Tassie tiger's been extinct for over 50 years, or 80 years or so. And the answer to that lies in the fact that recently I've published an article that's 30 pages long looking at some photographic evidence that comes from the 1990s. The background to the story is that some hunters accidentally shot dead a Tassie tiger in the 90s, and of course the evidence has been kept hidden for fear of prosecutions. The evidence that we do have is that there are some photographs showing what are the feet of a Tasmanian tiger, which had been believed until now to be the freshly dead animal. The recent research shows that in fact they do belong to a museum specimen, but the real clincher is that in one of those photographs you see that specimen lying on top of a further photograph, and that photograph shows again a foot, which I believe to be a Tasmanian tiger, lying with what appear to be gum leaves next to it, that is to say outdoors on the ground. There are a lot of people who've given accounts of a dead Tasmanian tiger from the early 1990s, and I believe this photograph, or these photographs, show that somebody took a photograph of a portion of the animal to a museum with the question, can we look at a specimen, a known Tassie tiger specimen, and put it next to this photograph to establish if this foot matches the species or not. So in other words, if that account is true, and I do believe the evidence points in that direction, it means the Tassie tiger has made it into the 1990s. That's more than 50 years beyond the last date that we can verify they were here. If it can do that, it can do it to today. So that's the basis of my appeal. The full account will be in the link that's with this campaign. And the question then is, okay, so how does this funding go? How much and what will be done with it? I'm putting a fairly high sort of figure on this project because I think it merits a real serious search. I would be looking at figures of about $100,000 per investor, up to 5 investors. It's staged that way so that even if there's only a small level of initial investment, work can be done. The first tier, if you like, of investment would mean at least 12 months worth of trips down there with some good new equipment. And in particular, I'll be looking at audio surveys. An audio recorder at night time in Tasmania, where it's very, very quiet, can pick up calls that originate up to 3 kilometres away. So that's an area of about 30 square kilometres around the device. More than that, research in Europe has already shown that you can use multiple audio recorders that are synchronized to the timestamp to pick up a single animal call, and then by measuring the time it's taken for that call to reach each of your recorders, you triangulate where the call has originated. That will be the approach I'm looking to take. It means that where the animal calls, we can put a targeted search for evidence such as footprints, den sites, and deploying cameras. Camera traps, of course, can only cover 20, 30, 40, 50 square meters in front of them, hence beginning this approach using audio. If the investment goes beyond that tier to the further tiers, then essentially we'll be looking at doing this searching full time, placing me down in Tasmania, getting out there every week to service this equipment. I need to add to that as well that I've been doing research down there and self-funding trips down there for at least 10 years, and on 2 occasions I have heard the call of what matches the description of a Tasmanian tiger, which is a double yip given 2 or 3 times, very briefly, and that's it. Once was in 2013, the second time was in 2017. And those locations were around the same valley, and it's also the location where other researchers have heard similar calls. So that's the basis of the appeal. Please check out the website, find out who I am, what I do, what I love. My hope for your involvement is not just the financial contribution, but of course, if the evidence comes through that we can demonstrate through video and photographic evidence a living Tasmanian tiger, there will be a lot of value in that evidence and in that story. So I'm looking for somebody who is also on board for managing that value and the sorts of events that will eventuate in that scenario. Needless to say, there'll be management for media interviews, the story itself, and so on and so forth. The opportunities beyond that, if the Tasmanian tiger is demonstrated to still persist, of course, is in the tourism industry for Tasmania. there will be enormous opportunities there. But that's me, that's my appeal, and I hope you'll take the time to consider, and thank you for watching.